Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Yep. We just talked about Diego's Derek Lively stand. He's
Yes.
always Derek Lively. They're just popping up at like six in the conference, not on the play-in anymore, Diego.
Yep, that's what we needed. I think we can stay here, and especially the fact that Kyrie Irving and Tim Hardaway Jr. dropped over 40 points last night to beat the Pelicans. So very interesting. Without Luca.
Wow.
So interesting stuff.
Definitely, yeah, definitely wild there. Utah Jazz 6 game winning streak. Cavaliers, Bulls helping them out a little bit with their blowout loss to the Cavaliers. Cavaliers going on a 5 game winning streak. Just some things to note. Bulls still in the play-in though, so we're chilling. Lakers are in trouble.
They
Um,
are in trouble.
Thunder and Timberwolves. We're going to be talking about them later, but they look amazing. But Diego told me this off air. Everybody's sleeping on the Nuggets. I don't know why. It's almost like they won the championship last year. So, and
Yeah.
they're only a game behind. Like they're only a game behind, and people are like Timberwolves and Thunder, lock them in. Celtics, lock them in.
Yeah. I think people just get bored. Like we were just saying as well off air that it's just too easy to pick them, right? But I think one big thing is all of their starting lineup has played probably the most minutes of any starting lineup in the league. They've really been lucky on the injury bug. So either they keep this luck going or they're due for the opposite. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well conditioned. That's what I call it. That
Hmm.
Denver altitude is no joke.
Yep.
Celtics, I was watching them against the Bucks. They did not look good. They're coming off a back to back. Like obviously, like when you're facing the Timberwolves, that
Yeah.
game going into overtime, like Timberwolves like playing like the best team in the league right now.
Hmm.
Somehow they climb out of that, and then they go up against the Bucks. Giannis steamrolled, James steamrolled, like everybody steamrolled them,
Yeah.
and they look dominant again. Like I didn't hit my parlay when they faced the Rockets because Van Vliet didn't hit more than 17 points,
It's kind of
but
hit.
everybody was hitting threes. Like Porzingis had like three in the first quarter. Like they look dominant again, Diego.
Yeah. I mean, just back to backs. I feel like anytime you see a back to back on the schedule, like almost any result, as long as it's a back to back, you can just put an asterisk on it. And I guess that's the regular season for you. Like you can't avoid that. Like that, at least the Celtics won one of those games because both those games are pretty big against good teams. I was hoping for the Celtics to win because of my fantasy team, but also Bucks downfall because they just decided no more defense after trading away Drew, which is valid in this era. But I just like defense, so that's my spiel.
They're still undefeated at home, 19-0. Not too
It's
bad.
true.
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed when watching them play is I think having Derek White and Holiday on that team,
Hmm.
and even Porzingis in some cases, really like made a difference compared to the teams last year. Um, like a Holiday, like granted, like White and Horford would like share the ball very a
Yeah.
lot. That was nice, but like when you had like Grant Williams or like Robert Williams in the lineup, they tend to like want to take the shots or like take the dunks and take their opportunities. When maybe the better play is like the next pass. White and Holiday do a great job of like moving the ball, get ridding like get rid of the ball of like within 1 second. JJ Redick was notorious for this. Like he would always like
Yeah.
catch and shoot right away or like get rid of the ball within a second. And I think you're sort of seeing that from the Celtics offense, and it's helping out Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown's production a lot because they could be a lot more explosive. Granted, Tatum's always been like a slower playing player than like Brown per se, because he has a lot of like setup moves or like step backs or like
Hmm.
isolation moves he wants to take his time with. But it's working for this team because now you can't key in on one player. I think that's made a huge difference for them.
Yeah, I mean Derek White definitely he just makes the right play almost anytime. He runs pick and rolls and plays the right way. Drew Holiday from that Bucks game, the one thing I enjoyed watching when I did watch the little part of the beginning of it that I watched, Drew Holiday was actually guarding Giannis and pulled the chair out from under him. Watching that live was amazing, just because I mean no other point guard is doing that to
He's
Giannis. Like
crafty, man. He's
yeah,
crafty. I mean, maybe smart, but smart would do that with a flop. So,
yeah,
like,
smart. I don't. Smart's kind of like off my radar now, especially because he got injured too. But he's just not him anymore. At least it doesn't
yeah,
seem
I
like it.
mean, he was like the heart of that Celtics team, and like they kind of reshaped their identity now. Like, I didn't like the move when they moved off from him initially,
Yeah,
like now looking at this, they look like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Like and like Hauser's been like playing decent. Like they're
He's
getting some
been
production elsewhere. It's like it's you hope this team like the Celtics make you feel good every time like watching them in the regular season. You just hope this spans into the playoffs. But good to
yeah.
see.
Yeah. I like it.
All right. I know we didn't see this. I saw this yesterday. Mike Brown had zero chill like against this game against the Bucks. Um, he got ejected from the game. He was talking smack. Apparently, he went out to the official. Like it's when he brought up like film study like to the press conference and showing like the press film, and I don't know how effective that is because
Yeah.
like press don't watch basketball like that. So like they're not gonna know what's going on. And like you're showing two plays in isolation. Obviously, refs have been missing calls everywhere. This has not been anything new in the NBA, like and NFL. Like it's been problems in this league. Like there's a reason why LeBron treats out he's been crying and then why he's like being so demonstrative after calls like this. But like it is kind of interesting when like obviously like Dame's my favorite player, but like been being realistic, like he sometimes draws foul calls like that don't look like fouls, and like that one on like Fox he had where Fox was like getting right up into him and was just coming off the screen, didn't like blatantly intentionally touch him at all. Like Dame sort of flops and throws up a three, gets three free throws, but like when Fox on the other end has the ball and it's getting hooked like off a pick and roll, no call there. Like I'm a Brown's Mike Brown side on that. Like that's something that definitely should be called. Like it's there's a double standard to this and it's dependent on superstars. But at the same time, like it's not you're just inviting yourself to get fined at that point without like
Yeah.
resolving the issue. Like I think the entire issue is that like the refs aren't like they're not held accountable like enough. Like
Mhm.
even in the NFL, this is a problem because like if you're and I'm not saying I don't want to take away money from the refs. It's not my intent, but it's
Yeah.
like it's intent. Like my intent is to help improve the performance by like bringing awareness to this. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
like that way you get a better product on the court or field. Like if you're blatantly missing calls, it's just like you're downgraded not to like not to ref the next game or like the
Yeah.
playoffs or something like that. And it's like I get it. The refs make bad calls in certain situations like that, but it's like on that situation with like Damian Lillard driving and like De'Aaron Fox driving, like
Mhm.
same concept, pick and roll, like trying to get them into the paint.
Yeah.
Like there are two different like ways to define intentional contact from that. Like when Fox is not even touching Lillard and like Fox is getting hooked on the other end. And defining what is a foul and what is not a foul for like all these refs to call is important because like how this is being managed now is like some refs will call that hook because it's blatant contact.
Mhm.
Some refs won't call it because they don't see it. That's not the first thing they're looking for when they see a scenario like a pick and roll, and they're not going to call it. Like some refs don't actually call the 8 second violations or like defensive 3 seconds. Like
Lane violations that never gets
yeah,
called in the NBA.
never like carries. Like I'm pretty sure everybody carries now. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. Like at what point do you call the game right
Or
and
change the rules.
consistently? Yeah, like there needs to be like a defined like method, like
Mhm.
to call it. And, like even like the Harden step back, that wasn't a step back until like he did it right. So like it's there's so many layers to this that one refs need to be held accountable, but also you need to have a bit of culture on how you enforce the game because
Yeah.
I think it's introducing a lot of bad habits by the players, and also it's like now it's been like an actual strategy of the game to like
Mhm.
take account on like how the refs are calling the game and like that's a huge difference in the game. Like when
Mhm.
somebody gets thrown out or technical, like that's a loss of possession right there. That means the world in basketball. So
Yeah. Talking about the refs, I think like any job you have, like you're responsible for your product or what you provide. right? And if you don't live up to the snuff after a certain amount of like mistakes that are like everyone makes mistakes, so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But you do need to kind of there has to be some sort of responsibility for it. But also on the other side of that, it's like like on Twitter, everyone has these like clips that are like slow motion. You could like control. The refs don't have that necessarily in real time, so that's another thing to think about. And yeah, I guess lane violations. I see them all the time. I just think, why do we have that rule if no one, if it's never called? I see dudes like step on, it's like they just start stepping on the line and they just stand there the whole time and it just doesn't
Yeah, you're
matter.
supposed to wait until the ball hits the rim, and like some
Yeah,
guys are just like going like a second before. Like it's just like, okay,
yeah,
if you take that rule out, then like everybody's just gonna like stand facing the basket.
no, yeah.
Like not like that rule is useless right now. It's gonna need to be better defined and implemented.
Hmm.
So hear you on that. One of my dreams is to somehow establish a ref academy for all
Ref
sports or something like
academy.
that.
Yeah,
Like, dude, honestly, I think it's needed that like have the refs graduate from the academy and do their sports and stuff
NBA
like that.
Ref
It's gonna
Academy.
be a lot of work. It's gonna be a lot of work.
Mhm.
It's a lot of time invested, a lot of money investment to get that. But if it's gonna lead to better dollars on the market, why not?
True. That's true. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who don't like watch basketball, like less than casual fans, are just like, yeah, like sometimes there's just too many fouls or reviews and stuff. So that could help as well. I don't know. We'll see.
Something we will see is Draymond Green. He's returning back.
He
He's on
is
the
back.
Warriors. He played against the Grizzlies. I think they lost the Grizzlies, but how do you think this affects this Warriors team?
I mean, the Warriors, let's see the stand. I mean, the Warriors are down in the dumps, but like
They're right
there's
there. They're like a game and a half away from the play-in right now.
yeah, I mean, they're not too far behind, but it just feels and we've all seen the tweet where it's like the Warriors are willing to give up everything besides Stephen Curry this trade deadline. And it's like, yo, like, is that for real? And like, what is gonna happen from there? Who do you trade? And like, I feel like they obviously want to get rid of Andrew Wiggins. He's been laying an egg the whole year. Uh, it just seems like there needs to be a change, you know. And Draymond might help. Yeah, I mean, I think his first shot made was a three in that game, so that's interesting. But I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like this isn't it feels like how they were that one year, like they didn't even make the playoffs. I think that was 2020. Yeah, in 2020 when I think they got James Wiseman for being so bad that year. It feels like we're at that kind of valley, but this time I don't know where they kind of come out of that, especially because they're not as bad as the worst team, so you're not going to get that great of a pick, and it's going to be very difficult. So either they make some crazy moves and mortgage their future right now for a chance, a glimmer of hope, or they just let it happen and just try to rebuild. But we'll see. We'll see. Warriors fans can't be mad though. They've had 4 years or 4 titles in 8 years, so gotta just roll with the punches, I guess,
Yeah, Wiggins is not having like the best of years defensively, and that's kind of what they need him on.
and
Like,
rebounding as well.
yeah, no, he's only having four rebounds like a game
Jeez.
now. So like that's not good. Like, but even with like his assist total and like they're like sixth in assists, I think, with
Mm,
28.2, and like rebounds are fourth in the league, 46.1. So like they have some things going for them. And like Chris Paul has not been a bad addition at all. Like when
yeah,
we're talking
off
about
the bench and
statistically,
such.
like yeah, like his 3-point shooting's been amazing. Like he's taken three a game, but like he's hitting 36%, like
Hmm.
almost four a game. Um, like where you want to see him be better, maybe is probably the assists, but like he's averaging 7 assists, which is best on the
Yeah,
team. So like how much of that do you need? Like you're not expecting him to like shot block anybody. Like the steals like maybe should go up. So like maybe is it a situation where you have to package like Paul and like Wiggins somewhere to like to a contending team? Then
perhaps.
but like what kind of contending team would you want? Maybe
Yeah,
it's
who
tough.
wants that? I don't.
Like
It's hard to tell someone be like, take Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul and give me your best player. Like that's gonna
give me
be
give me
tough.
Cam Johnson. I'll throw in a first round pick.
Oh, wait,
Like,
that might work, but then yeah, that
but
wouldn't
like,
be
are the
mad.
Nets willing to do that? That's the thing.
No,
Like
it's
I
yeah,
feel like even the first round pick that might be too low, like too low of an offer for a guy like Cam Johnson. So like, it's I think they should just like wait it out at this point and then like build through the trenches and like find that guy like that starts on the bench and starts producing. Like that's really how they got that championship team together when you think about
yeah,
it. Like
no,
Wiggins was like a guy nobody wanted. They picked
yeah,
him up. They found a use for him.
yeah. I just remember Timberwolves Andrew Wiggins, guy who like was in dunk contests and just doing all that. But he was never that good. And then everyone's like, when he got traded to the Warriors, everyone's like, oh, what are the Warriors gonna do with Andrew Wiggins? And he becomes an All Star, which I'm never gonna forget that because that is just like the weakest All Star. He's averaging 14 points a game up until that point. But whatever. But he was an All Star, so I think it's kind of crazy that kind of jump. And then I guess he's gone back to the regular Andrew Wiggins. So we'll see how he develops or keeps
Diego's
developing.
just a hater guy, so
At
you
times,
know.
depends. We'll see. We'll see if he gets out of my hate list. I don't know.
I mean, even Clay Thompson, I feel like he's taking a step back a little bit. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's like the GG Jackson game we saw. Like how
Hmm.
awesome was that post game interview with like Shaq and like
Oh
Charles
yeah.
Barkley and him hearing like Shaq's voice and like
He's like,
such a
whoa.
such a polite dude. Like I think he's like what 19 or 20, just came
Yeah,
out of the G
probably.
League fresh. Like his shooting form was like the like kind of weird, but it wasn't like Lonzo weird. It
Let
was
me see.
working. He hit like six threes. Like the best way I can describe it is like it was almost like he was standing up and like took like a short hop
Hmm.
like to shoot it. Now, granted, I probably shouldn't comment that because my 3 point shooting is like very low hop to seal. So like if it works, it works. And like he was hitting catch and shoot. Like he
Yeah.
was like going off of pick and rolls. And like if that's happening for the Grizzlies, like look out because you already have to worry about Bane. And like Morant obviously can shoot threes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I can see Diego just saw his shooting form there. So
I I just found the one video where he catches. He does kind of like
it's kind
the
of like a
Kyrie.
fadeaway, like jump shot kind of thing.
I just saw he caught it and then went straight up with it. Like no dip on his shot into his shot pocket. That's a hard shot.
Wait, yes, yes, that's the other important thing to know. Like, there's no dip at all. Like he's taking it from the elbows, like kind of like
Yeah.
shooting it, like right up, like as is like hot lava or something like that,
Hmm.
and it's working for him. Like he's getting the right spin off the ball. Like it's coming off his fingers well. Like what a game! What a game from him!
Yeah.
Like Steph was like, what just happened? Is this how it is when I'm shooting it? Like it's
Yeah.
like it's like it. You win some, you lose some, man.
It's definitely tough out there, and especially they must have brought it in because I think the Grizzlies don't have Steven Jackson, Brandon Clark, John Moran. I don't know why Jaren Jackson Jr. He was out for the Mavs game. So was Desmond Bain. Vince Williams Jr. gets that big contract extension. They're bringing guys up now because they literally are in the trenches. They have no depth. They need guys, and they even signed that guy Vince Williams Jr. to like a contract, a like real contract from being a two-way player. So I have respect for Vince Williams after he and the Grizzlies beat the Mavs. I had to watch that live last Tuesday. That was painful, but very grinded out team. I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it. But yeah,
The grit and grind, baby, still alive even after
true.
Tony Allen's not playing with the Grizzlies anymore.
Yeah, Tony Allen, no Marcus Gasol. Mike Conley's still out there though on the Timberwolves.
And Timberwolves looking really nice. Speaking of them, which team has impressed you the most, like out of the
Oof,
Western Conference, like elites right now? Like tier
it's
one out of Athletic. Here's how it was for me. Like
uh,
there were the Celtics, there were the Wolves, there's the Thunder, there's the
mhm,
Clippers. I saw. Um, and then there's the Nuggets. Obviously, can never
yeah.
forget about them. And then I think it was the Sixers, but I could be wrong. They could be just on the outskirts of that,
The Sixers are close, but
or maybe it's the Bucks. I think it was the Bucks.
yeah, I'd say at least of these top three that we're kind of looking at in the West, I it's hard not to go with the Thunder, especially when you compare them to the preseason expectations. I mean, like it's hard to tell. It's hard for you to tell anyone at the beginning of the season this team of like with no one older than like 26 years old as your core is gonna compete to be one of the best teams in the West. That's
especially
crazy.
with the Josh Giddey news we've been seeing.
Yeah, and the fact he's still playing, even like I don't know, that's kind of weird. Just because we don't really know exactly what's going on, and he's still getting booed every single time he touches the ball. So that's
He's getting 6 rebounds a game on top of that.
yeah. So it's definitely an interesting team. I knew they were gonna be good. I didn't think they were gonna be this good. I thought they were gonna be maybe 4, 5, 6.
I
You
think
know,
we agreed on that. Like we had him in like the 4 and 6 range. Like
yeah, they
that was
like
like our high expectations for them. Like we were very conservative, I think. Like now
yeah.
looking at it.
The Timberwolves, I'm not as surprised with because last year they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns for extended period of time. They couldn't really get the chemistry they needed to do what they're doing now. I mean, Rudy Gobert's playing at a defensive player of the year level. Anthony Edwards is in fact him, like being him consistently. So yeah, I can see how they have the best. Do they have the best? They
They
don't
have the
have the
best
best
record by a
record.
game.
Really?
Not again. No, the Celtics have a better record. They're
Yeah.
31-9.
Yeah.
But the Timberwolves are the best in their conference by a game.
No, yeah.
Thunder are right behind them. Nuggets are right behind them. Don't sleep on the Nuggets. Just
Hmm.
like we told you, do not sleep on the Clippers. Like there's
Yeah.
a reason the Clippers are like top. I think they're the sixth in the West right now, or
The
like higher
Clippers are
than the North.
fourth.
Fourth. Mavs are sixth. Yes, we
Yes,
just talked about this.
this is true.
Yeah. We told you guys not to worry about the Clippers because of the talent on their roster. They have Tyronn Lue still. They will find a way to make this work, and they have been. It'll be very interesting to see. Um, I think they're like two powerhouse games going on right now. I think it's not the
Not
Suns. No,
not
it's the
on
Kings
yet.
and the Suns. But the Thunder and the Clippers are going to be facing each other later this night. So it'll be
Tonight?
very exciting to see. Yep, 10 p.m. Eastern
Wait, I
today.
might be blind. Oh, the Thunder and the Clippers, yes.
Yep, yep,
And at 7:30, Sixers Nuggets. So
yep.
matchup.
All like that's a great slate to be honest. Who knew Demontis Sabonis is the leading scorer on the Kings? I would have not guessed that.
Yeah.
20.1 points, looking good. But side tangent from that, I I agree with you on the Thunder, and for that reason, I'm going to talk about the Timberwolves. I think the way the Timberwolves are structured
Hmm.
is very impressive because like when the Gobert trade happened, a lot of people were like, especially after Walker Kessler was like balling like the league out like on the Jazz. Like a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, the Jazz fleeced the Timberwolves again. Like
Yeah.
here goes oh shoot, I'm forgetting the Celtics GM's name. Like the former
Oh,
GM.
Brad Stevens.
No, not Brad Stevens. He's on the
Danny
Jazz
Ainge.
now. Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge fleeced them again. Like here we go. Like everybody fell for it. Like Rudy Gobert is not that good. Like
Yeah.
it's like everybody was like, there's a reason why Rudy Gobert got exposed in the playoffs, and they're making this work. Like
Hmm.
and Andrew Wiggins, like we were just like we were just on him like earlier.
Hmm.
Like him, like he's the best defender on the Warriors right now, and him maybe not this season, but like notoriously. Like him guarding Anthony Edwards, and like Anthony Edwards had this like one move where he had like a step back, like spin cycle between the leg. He just had like this five divination combo, did like a LeBron like fadeaway, and
Yeah.
shot it and made it. Like he's playing out of his mind right now. And on top of that, you got like behemoths and like Towns and like Gobert.
Hmm.
And like
Yeah.
Conley's a veteran making it work. Who's their wing right now that's playing on the team? I have
Um,
not kept tabs on who's playing.
Probably McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels.
He's been pretty nice, right?
Yeah. You also have Naz Reid coming off the bench. He was good last year and he's reasonable this year. Um, I think the biggest thing for them is just the fact that you have Rudy Gobert. He's obviously your center, but the fact that Karl Anthony Towns, a guy that's 7 feet tall, 6'11", okay, maybe. I don't know exactly how tall he is, but he's pretty tall. That guy's your power forward in an age where the power
Six
forward
nine.
position is extinct. There's no more power forwards anymore. You're either a center or a forward playing that position, or a small forward playing that position. And Karl Anthony Towns is the best of both. He's got the size of a center. He can move like a forward, and he can shoot like a forward, and he's taking advantage of that. So I think it's a big thing for their team on a kind of a twin towers type of deal. It's very
And I just
interesting.
looked at the rest of their bench depth. I did not know they had Shake Milton on
Yeah.
that team. That's a nice add. Jaden McDaniels obviously looked really nice. Kyle Anderson's been real. When you have the combination of this and like Jaden Clark too,
Hmm.
like even though he's a rookie, like I look at their opposing points per game. They're the best in the league. They're the best offensive team.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, they're forcing everything outside and they got the wing defenders to like close out and contest this. Like, I have no idea why the Sixers didn't keep Milton. Like, he was one of their revelation stars last year.
Hmm.
Like, he was the guy I would have kept and like traded harder for everything else. And like, he like having him, like, these are like the types of bench stuff that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And like, the thing that impressed me the most about the Timberwolves is like when you look at them and it's like, okay, they're going up against the Warriors and they're going up against the Lakers in a vacuum or the Clippers. Like, who are we going to pick? We're not going to pick the Timberwolves because, like, talent wise, they're not the most talented team. Even with
Yeah.
Anthony Towns and Edwards, they're not the most talented team.
Hmm.
Like, even against the Celtics, like, obviously the Celtics had the better record. Like, Thunder had the better talent, one game behind. Nuggets had the better talent and, like, and better players at some positions too. Like, but doesn't matter. They're like still holding teams to 107 points per game. Like they've been able to make this work. And for not being the most talented team, that's what has impressed me the most.
Yeah. I'd say just the focus on defense. I mean, on that starting lineup, like Karl Anthony Towns might be the worst defender, and he's probably guarding the worst shooter, the worst guy on the opposing team. Uh,
Because so who is that? Like you mentioned with the power forwards, that's probably like a catch and shoot 3-and-D guy,
yeah.
or
He doesn't
that's
have to do
probably like
much.
a power forward that's like there to get rebounds because the center
Hmm.
is like a space
And
like
he's probably and
space
Karl
forward.
Anthony's probably bigger than that guy, or as the same size. So
Yeah.
yeah. The only flaw to that is I guess you're exposed. You could get exposed to small ball, and that's what happened when the Mavs beat them last Sunday. Sorry, I had to make it about the Mavs, but small ball won. We didn't have Lively. Very surprising win for me. I did not expect to win that at all, so just had to drop that
Yeah.
there.
I mean, we that is nothing new. That is the one worry like I have with a Gobert like whenever you're facing Gobert in the playoffs, because
Hmm.
that's what kind of exposed him on the Jazz, like when he
Yeah,
wasn't able to get out to the corner threes.
the Terrence Mann game. Oh, I'm never forgetting that game. That was literally Jazz. Well, that wasn't the Jazz downfall, but that was like pre-Jazz downfall. Like that was
It was just
crazy.
the fact they didn't adjust. They
Hmm.
didn't adjust. They knew what was happening to them, and they couldn't adjust because Gobert does everything else for them.
Yeah.
And it's until the Timberwolves find a way to navigate that, where it's like purposeful zones or like intentional structure around like Gobert, where it's like he doesn't have to run out to the three like that
Hmm.
in those situations. Like
Yeah.
it's until I see that happen, like it's like Timberwolves to the finals. Like if but right now I can't say that because like the Nuggets are literally one game behind them and they have won the
Yeah.
finals. Like what is stopping me from thinking it's gonna be a Nuggets Bucks or Nuggets Celtics finals? I have
Yeah.
yet to see that. And like I just know like if I'm just putting the Nuggets and the Timberwolves head to head,
Hmm.
like I know Jokic is going to cause so many problems for that Timberwolves team, no matter how good they are defensively. And I know it's kind of counterintuitive because I've just complimented the way the Timberwolves have made this work with their structure, but they impressed me so far. I'm still like remaining healthy skepticism on that.
All right. One kind of parallel I'm kind of drawing or thinking of at this moment is that this Timberwolves team is probably the best team. This is the team I'd want, I think, to play the Nuggets with. You have size. The Nuggets have a lot of size, and they're
I,
very good at getting rebounds. The Timberwolves doing the same thing, and it reminds me of the 2019 Bucks Raptors series. The Raptors knowing how Giannis plays after him getting he got his first MVP that year. They No one knew how to guard Giannis then, so they developed the wall, and he can't do anything against it, and he's cooked. He's out of the playoffs right there, and the Raptors go on to win it, win the whole thing. So that's just something I'm thinking about. Another parallel that could happen. Probably won't happen, but we'll see. Uh,
yeah, that's it's. I think that's kind of a stretch to be honest, because like it's
well, they
the
already
thing
beat
is
the
Jokic and
Nuggets.
Giannis are different players.
No,
You
I'm
know,
not saying they're doing the same wall thing, but the the Timberwolves are the best team. They're like built to play against Jokic, having size and such to
Right.
attack, to be on a
Not only
similar
that,
level.
and like they can match up against Gordon. Like
Hmm.
that's not in like
Jaden McDaniels
Gordon
on
can get away with
MPJ.
a lot with power. Yeah, like McDaniels could probably guard Gordon.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and that's saying a lot.
mm, it
I know
depends.
it's a
Is
stretch.
it?
It's a stretch to
Yeah.
say that, but like ideally, you want Towns guarding Gordon or like Gobert
Hmm.
guarding Gordon or something like that. Like the thing is, they're interchangeable with the 4 and
Yeah.
5. They can make it work. Like Towns is athletic enough to keep up with Jokic. Like Gobert
Oh
is
yeah.
enough to like match up size wise with like
There, yeah.
um
Yo,
with
Gobert's bodying
Gordon.
Gordon, I feel like, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Uh, only
should be
nitpick,
an enticing matchup. Yeah,
yeah, only nitpick I have in the Clippers case because they just lost to the Timberwolves is that Zubats couldn't play because he got injured during the game. So if you're just thinking the Timberwolves are better than the Clippers, for losing that game, it's because Zubats was out. That was all I wanted to say about the Clippers.
context matters.
Yeah,
Fair. That's fair. We'll see. We'll see how the Clippers fare against the Thunder. It might even like shape our opinions on this question
yeah,
entirely.
we'll
Um,
see.
One game that's getting underway in about 7 minutes from when we're recording right now is the
Crazy.
Sixers and the Nuggets. Jokic, Embiid, part million. This should be amazing to see. Like, who guards Maxi? Who guards Murray? Like,
My
how is this going to
God.
shape out? Like,
Yeah.
what are you looking at previewing this game?
I'm I want to see if Jokic and Embiid guard each other. I don't think they usually do. I think when the Sixers had PJ Tucker, they would put him on Jokic. Uh, but that would be what I want. That's what I want to see. I probably won't see it, but yeah, I would think Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's definitely not guarding Tyrese Halliburton. I guess you put KCP on him, and then who guards Jamal Murray? That's I mean they don't have Shake Milton like you said. Yeah, I mean no Kelly Oubre doesn't even start. I don't know. That's a good question there. So this is gonna be an interesting matchup, though. These are two powerhouses in their conferences. It's very. This is like I wasn't expecting this. MLK Day we had a bunch of games. I'm like, oh, we probably have some like Schmid games for today, but no, the NBA is treating us to some fire. So we'll see. What are you looking for, Josh?
Um, I'm looking to see like who's on the depth chart right now for the Sixers. But as far as this game, I was just trying to see who can guard Murray.
Yeah.
It's gonna be yeah. I mean, I'm not counting on Tobias Harris or Tyrese Maxey in that lineup,
God.
but yeah, right. Maxey's
Maybe
fast, but
Maxi
yeah,
just because of his speed. He's definitely faster
like
than Murray.
Maxey's gonna keep like Murray from the drives and stuff for the speed.
Hmm.
That's for
Oh
sure.
man, this is the
But
first time they played since March of last season. Very
Embiid
interesting.
and Jokic.
The teams, yeah, probably
Oh,
Embiid and Jokic as well.
been a while, but like I mean, you mentioned it. It's the previous two MVPs from the past 3 seasons matching
Hmm.
up. That's going to be key to see. Um,
In Philly too.
I'm I'm curious to see how like Nick Nurse's usage of Maxi and Embiid is going to play out against the Nuggets
Hmm.
because it's creative. It caused a lot of off-ball movement with how they're utilizing Maxi and Embiid, and I'm curious to see how the Nuggets choose to defend that. They have a lot of great defenders with Gordon and like Caldwell Pope, so
Yeah.
that's the one thing I'm gonna look to see. Um, and then obviously you hit the nail on the head. It's like who's gonna dominate this game because Embiid is like coming off from a knee injury, but like he's been
Hmm.
playing the past 3 games now. He just dropped
Yeah.
41 and 10. He's as fresh as ever. And if we see another stumbling block where he's like struggling against Jokic, that's going to be a huge tall tale sign on like where this hierarchy of centers are. Like he's always going to be good, but like when Jokic like he goes up against Jokic, it's going to be like, well, how good are you really? And like it's
Yeah.
and for Jokic, just like he's a guy that can do it all, and because Embiid's a guy that can do it all as well, it's kind of like this is probably the one player that can guard him.
Hmm.
Like Embiid has athleticism to guard him, like all areas of the court, and this is probably the one team that he's not going to see a double. So then it's like
Yeah.
how is he going to fare in the one-on-one game? Like he's probably still going to get his,
Hmm.
but like if he doesn't, then it's like, oh no, maybe
Well,
maybe the Sixers found something with this new head coach.
yeah.
Like and their system. So like, I'll be very interested to see this. We got a great slate of games today.
Yeah, I would say, oh man, I just like lost it. Oh, I
All
would
good. Take
say
your time.
the one strat that people have been using, trying to use against Jokic because it works, but does it really work? Is like making him a scorer. I think when they played Golden State and he hit that crazy shot on them, that was something they were saying is make if you make Jokic a scorer, then all the other players on the team aren't as like warm. They're not shooting as well because they don't have the ball. And is that a strategy? I don't know. But if anyone is gonna figure out a strategy, I could trust Nick Nurse to do that. Nick Nurse is a very good X's and O's guy. I would like to see what he does, but we'll see. I mean, Embiid, I feel like Embiid doesn't think he has to prove himself, and he doesn't have to prove himself as a good player in this league. But in this matchup, he is not the guy. He is not the better player. Like accolades, glory, like when we look back on it, like kids in 2050 are gonna be like, "Who's Joel Embiid?" If everything stayed the same, if he wins the title, if he does something, we'll see. So I think you want to win this game, but I think Embiid needs to think about the playoffs and what he's gonna do there. Got to make sure to actually solidify a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the now looking at their roster, there is Beverly. So Beverly,
Oh
like if
yeah.
Beverly gets extended minutes, like he could do something. I'm not saying he's an elite defender, but like
No,
he can annoy.
I would just throw him at Jamal Murray, like just no thought, just like you're guarding him, Pat. It's like
Yeah,
whenever in the playoffs, like a good defender matches minutes with the best player on the other team. Now, I'm not
yeah.
saying Pat Bev is go-to defender like he was in his prime, but he's just a wild dude that I just
He'll get under the Nuggets skin. Like
yeah.
that's gonna happen.
He's
And
like
I
a
mean,
dog when you're just like sick him, go, and he's just gonna go do it, and he's gonna mess everything up. Like
yeah. I thought you were saying like Siakam there, like a pun
no,
there.
no, no.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, I just remember him like, and he was on the Timberwolves jumping on the stands,
Yeah.
like they're cheering like they won the NBA Finals. I'll never forget that moment. Absolutely
Oh man,
hilarious. The one
that was
guy
so
that I've been
funny.
missing, like, and keep forgetting is on the Sixers lineup is Batum.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he's a good
that's a
defender.
he's a good defender, but like he's a quiet ad that like has been like hitting his spot up. Like that's ideal like spot up shooter you want from
Hmm.
three. Like Batum is very solid in that area. Um, and he's been offering more that I've been impressed by. Looking at Oubre too from time to time, um, and Harris. But like the thing I'm struggling with is like how is Nick Nurse is going to manage like Harris and Maxi's minutes
Hmm.
going against this Nuggets team because like whatever you do, you got to get stops. Like
Yeah,
it's one thing to stop Jokic, but then you got to stop Murray and Gordon and
and
Caldwell Pope
KCP. Yeah,
and like Michael Porter. He can hit like six threes if you want, like if he
if you
gets
let him,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, so very interesting matchup. Um, do you got any predictions on who wins this matchup?
Predictions. They're playing in Philadelphia, who have also just lost in a very disgusting fashion last night. Happy, good for me that just the Cowboys didn't lose in an embarrassing fashion. But anyway, so they could kind of take that and win. I don't think so. I'm taking the Nuggets.
Same. I think the Nuggets just have too much power that the 76ers can't match.
Hmm.
Um, they are the defending champions. I think it's going to mean something to them to even
And
have this be a discussion point.
I just kind
Um,
of doubt that Embiid is like 100% still. Like he
I
came back
mean,
from injury 3 games ago, 4 games ago.
it
I
takes a
don't know.
while. It takes a while for something like that to. Usually, it takes like weeks to finally find yourself. So like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt that either.
yeah.
What about now that I'm looking at it? We got the Kings and the Suns at 9 p.m. Eastern.
That that's really hard. I'm not. I want to say the Suns, because I mean Bradley Beal after having that big game, he could be cooking. Yeah, I'd say the Suns. The Kings want to focus on defense this year, but I don't think they've been playing at that level that they really want to yet. So I'm taking the Suns. I'm taking the Suns there.
I'm torn on this. I think
It's tough. It's not easy. It's
I've
definitely not an
seen
easy game.
Yeah, not an easy game at all, but I've seen, like, struggles between Booker and Beal, like,
Mm,
coexisting
interesting.
until I until I see this work out like between their interactions, like
Okay.
it's kind of like a Demar and like Levine kind of deal. They had to
No,
like
yeah.
coexist the same way. So like until I see that happen and like Kevin Durant get his shots up, like until they find that balance, like I think they're gonna struggle offensively just from like trying to see like how do we flow as a unit.
Hmm.
So like I'm struggling to say the Suns right now, but they had the better talented team, like
Yeah.
offensively.
Yeah.
And I think they've also had some defensive struggles they need to work
Oh,
through under Vogel.
no, for
So
sure. And
for
I
that
guess
reason, I'm going with the Kings. But like you said, I'm torn. It's gonna be tough on them.
no, yeah. And I mean that's why they got Vogel. Vogel's like a defensive guy. I mean, Roy Hibbert in the verticality. Oh, I miss Roy Hibbert's verticality. Sorry. Uh Lakers winning a championship on a team that was very defensively focused, getting on the break. That's what Phoenix wants, and they're not currently getting it. But I really can't blame them because their personnel doesn't really fit to that. But yeah, my big question is like Devin Booker is your point guard, which I mean any great player has to do, like facilitate the ball. But is he really your point guard? That's what I've heard a lot on like other
Yeah,
podcasts.
right.
Like, is that what he's gonna do? I don't like. He's not doing bad at it, but I don't know if that's what's best for him and the team.
Maybe they could use a guy like Chris Paul. Maybe that might
Yo,
help.
that'd be so heinous.
Yeah,
It's like taking your ex back is what that would be for the Suns. Just being
yeah.
like, yeah, you can come back. That's crazy. We'll
Wait,
see.
Chris Paul played for the Suns?
Yeah,
No, no, I was kidding.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, imagine that. Imagine Chris Paul with that. That would solve all their problems, right? But
right.
last slate for you, Thunder and the Clippers. Another tough one to decide.
It is. I want to see if Zubac's playing. I don't think is as big of a deal in this game. Cause yeah, but Chet's also skinny. He's not like huge, and he's not Twin Towers. But mm, I would say I would say the Clippers.
Same. Give me the Clippers here. I know Shy is averaging like plus 30. I think it's 31 a game.
Yeah,
Um,
but you think
but
Kawhi guards him or PG?
I don't think it matters. I think
Yeah,
the fact that they have like both of those guys
the
uniquely designed to
Dobermans.
guard and like even like a Westbrook to like take away some of his
Oh, true.
explosiveness. Like think about this for Westbrook. This is like a revenge game, like part 100 for him. Like you think
Yeah,
he isn't like chomping at the bit to play this young bit like
he's
Thunder? Like
excited.
he's gonna tell them like, hey, I've seen this before. I've seen this young team before, you know. But
Oh,
in
true.
all seriousness, I just think the Clippers have too many defenders that are uniquely designed to play the Thunder. Like if I'm looking at the playoffs right now and I'm the Thunder, the one team
Hmm.
I don't want to face is the Clippers because the
Yeah, I
Clippers
mean,
actually have the defensive spacing to take out like what they're uniquely capable of offensively.
yeah, Powell, Kawhi, PG. You have a good like a good rim protecting center. Jeez. Um, and Zubats. And then you have kind of guys that pull up on the bench. They have Tice. I think they still have Mason Plumlee. Yeah, I'm like 80% sure he's still on that team. So this is a good team. I mean, we'll see how it goes tonight. I think a lot of people are saying the Clippers are the most talented team in the West or even in the league because they have three MVPs. They have guys that have just been playing well for years. So we'll see what they do here. These are some good games.
Yeah, I mean the one thing with Oklahoma City is like against the Lakers, they struggled with shooting from three. So that's
Yeah.
one thing to note. Like if their three ball's not working against the Clippers too, I think the one dimensionality is gonna cost them. But like they still have the talent to win this game. So like a lot of games I'm like clearly torn between. But I got the Nuggets, I got the Kings, I got the Clippers. You also got the Clippers. I think
Hmm.
the only thing we
Difference is the
disagreed on
Suns.
was yeah, you got the Suns, but should be a good slate of games. That's all from us. Take care, guys. Follow
Yep.
us at amon.a.mission on Instagram and on
Lock
our
it in.
YouTube. Yep, Diego's getting the hang of it now.
Lock it in.
On, on our YouTube, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, Amon Mission. Leave us a comment. What are your thoughts? Who impressed you the most? Is there a
Yeah.
different team from the West we should keep our eyes on? Perhaps the Jazz on a 6-game winning streak? Let us know. With that, signing out here. Peace out.
So yeah.